As a gamer myself, I'm sure people that love video games will love our music and understand, the Pac-Man's noise in the game, all these weird noises that they can appreciate. Because I'll tell you the truth, when that third album came out, Inhuman Rampage, our old fans that was with us since the beginning says, this is a terrible album. What's all these video game noises that's chucked in here? There's way too much. This is stupid. What's going on here? So I was like a bit disappointed. We just evolved to incorporate even more music that inspired us all these years.
Welcome to the Becoming a Creator podcast, everybody. I have a very special guest joining me today. He is an absolute legend in the music and video game industry, co-founder, lead guitarist for DragonForce, which you may have heard of while playing Guitar Hero, as I did. Let me tell you, man, many hours back in the day. Herman Li joined with us. It's an honor to have you on the show, my good sir.
Thanks for having me here, Stone. Thank you so much. Awesome to be here. Thank you.
Heck yeah. We like to start with a little bit of a warm-up, as I'm sure musicians even need before going on to do a show, whatever. So got a couple more rapid-fire questions for you. What video game do you wish a DragonForce song could be featured in?
There was a game, an old game, a PlayStation 2 game. It was called Guitar Man. And that was it's not a big game, but I remember that game has some really cool guitar music. And it's that kind of a rhythm game with the pad, and it was awesome. So, and I think it appeared later in PS2. But Guitar Man, I'm gonna pick something unusual. That would have been cool.
I like it. I'm gonna look that up. You have to pick one. Okay, which would it be? Guitar Hero or Rock Band?
You know what? I gotta go with Guitar Hero, man. It just sounds way cooler to even start with. Guitars is cooler than everyone else, so guitar leads the way. Yeah.
I could see that, you with the guitar as well. I could see that. On tour, you have had these massive arcade machines that you would play even on top of. A couple weeks ago, you even asked on Twitter, what was your favorite arcade game out to the community? But I'm curious, what is your favorite arcade game?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna say R-Type, the old side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Otherwise, it's Outrun, the moving cabinet that you sit in. But I would say R-Type because I was good at that, and every time I went to Japan, I would actually put money in to play that game. I have it on my phone, I have it on whatever, but paying money, 1 credit, go as far as you can. That's when you actually, really think hard and do your best. When you got unlimited credit, it's like, you don't really care.
Yeah, you're right. It's it's a different experience when you're like at an arcade or at the place in the setup. You got to put the credit in to play it. Fans call you a metal god. And I feel like some of that stems from your iconic hair. In all your videos, you have a link in the description, $300 brush with it, which, I mean, is godlike move in general. What is your hair care routine?
To be honest, the only thing that is like outrageous is the brush. And it actually really makes a difference. I mean, it sounds like I'm not endorsing the brush, but it really makes a difference. I wish I bought it a long time ago. And I guess, it's kind of funny. When you get older, your hair, is a bit different. So you have to look after it more. Back then, I did not care. I didn't even brush it. I would use a comb if I I don't care. I was too busy to do something else. But, now it's the hairbrush. That's what it's about.
Love it. Well, now we warmed up a little bit. Let's dive even a little bit deeper here. In the early days of DragonForce, you posted music back on mp3.com. That was where the band started to get noticed, right? With playing video games growing up, working with computers before music, it seems like the internet was always an influence in some way. When did you start kind of experimenting with technology and sound?
Just going back to the background, when I had a job before DragonForce, I was a tech guy. The last job I had was a Linux system admin. So I always been into computers, from overclocking machines. I'm really deep in, right? The gaming stuff, the PC, graphics card, everything. So, building my machines a long time ago. And then, video games are such a big thing in my life that when I play the guitar, it's just kind of like video game sounds just kind of come out of my guitar randomly. And, it just kind of became the whole technology, even all the way to the stage we're talking about, the giant arcade machines. We build them ourselves. So Sam, my partner in crime on guitar, he made them himself. And I programmed the screens, how it works with the LED screens on stage. So Like we work at, we're all actually gamers in the band. I remember, being on the internet, the first browser I used was Mosaic version 2. So I'm going way back, right? You know, before anything else. So it was a natural thing. It's like, okay, we got some music. What we're going to do? Well, I've been on the internet all day. I mean, every day. So mp3.com was a normal thing to do to get started. So we always been, back then at the cutting edge of, I would say, the internet world. Funny enough, talking about that, I was looking back at my first YouTube upload. It was like it says untitled.avi. I mean, that's not very techy as a file name when I uploaded Through the Fire and Flames, on
Yeah, yeah.
YouTube. Couldn't be bothered renaming it after compressing it.
But just upload it and leave it. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
DragonForce started in 1999, right? You've said in previous interviews that you didn't really start even making money though until 2006. How did you stay motivated to keep creating during those 7 years and all the trials with it?
I think making music and talking about generally creative arts, that includes content creator. You just have to love what you do. It's like no one's play video games at pro gamers. They didn't play video games thinking they're going to make money at the beginning. And the same thing with making music. We just did it as a hobby and having fun. That was the most important part. And that enable you to have your art, have your expression, and do things freely without having to think about what people think about you. And being yourself and loving what you do is what motivate us even now, from the beginning to now.
Was there like pure consistency from you during all that time of just like passion of like, I love this, I keep making music, and you just keep on working on that? Or was there breaks during it? Was there times where it's just like, I can't figure out this next step, or I've already been doing this, I want to try something different with my music?
We're always trying something different, but being yourself and evolving with being yourself. I think that's important. So we weren't thinking, oh, someone else is popular doing this kind of music. That can't sound cool. I'm going to do that too. We never moved away from what we did at the beginning. There are lots of distraction in the world. And sometimes you see different bands come up and you go, wow, that sounds really good. But am I going to start playing like that band, or should I carry on doing what I love at the beginning and improve it? So that was the goal, was improving it. As a tech guy myself, for me, it's like, well, as a guitar player, in a band, we got to upgrade our CPU. We got to get better all the time. We can't just be still and do the same thing all the time.
Did you ever have like, as something's taken off or as something is working with it, or maybe is it something that even you enjoy and it's like, oh, I like the way this sounds, I like the direction that this is going, to where you continue to go down that route?
That's a good question. I think it comes with age. When you're younger, maybe you're a bit more stubborn, or maybe you get more stubborn when you're older. It's hard to say. I would say the beginning, we just said, you know what, we're good at this. We like what we play. We like to hear what we're playing. We're just going to do that. That's it. And we're going to make this more extreme and more over the top. Because when we started, everyone's making fun of us, saying, oh, guitar's not cool. Why are you playing guitar solo? That's so uncool. Oh, your hair is long. That's kind of ridiculous. You guys look dumb. And it's like, you know what? They hate it. We're going to do it even more. The more, whatever they hate, we're going to go longer, faster. And that's why the songs were so long back then, like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, more guitar solos than everyone else. That was the most unpopular thing, right? Guitar solos, until the help of Guitar Hero made guitar cool again. I think Guitar Hero, the video game industry, definitely helped on that end to make guitar like, wow, you know what? It's cool to play guitar.
As you were kind of going through that at the beginning, how did the transition work for you from, you mentioned working with Linux and, kind of more in the tech space, to transitioning to being full-time creating music?
I'm lucky. I was paid a lot of money doing that job back then, so I saved up all my money, like 2 years of wages. I just say, you know what, I'm going to give music a shot, because I had the record deal. And it's like, I got to save money and take this shot and see what happens. So the transition was like, there's only 1 in a million chance to make it in the music industry. Really tough, right? To get right up there on the top. And we had that record deal. We had everything lined up. It's like, I'm going to take that shot right now. There's always a computer job when I come back if it doesn't work. And luckily it worked out. And, just when my funds started getting low, that's when the checks started coming in, and it was great. And it enabled me continue this creation. And then lead to what we are now. You know, with the whole YouTube and Twitch thing coming in at the same time, like my tech past have come back to me now.
Yeah, and even like same thing. Even you posted on TikTok too. You posted a TikTok about literally making dollars from some of your first songs on Guitar Hero, and this is something I think a lot of people even maybe misinterpret with maybe trying to get sponsorships or start to bring revenue in early on with it. And I don't know, but you mentioned that you seemed very optimistic, even though you didn't make a whole lot from that first Guitar Hero. People think you maybe made millions off of it, but was the exposure, I guess, worth it more or more important to you than the money?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a platinum record, from the exposure on Guitar Hero, and that's like over a million sold, right? So forget about that little money you're chasing for, as this is a worldwide deal we're talking about. And I'm talking about platinum only in America. That's, we sold way more millions outside of America. Sometimes, if you're talking business sense, you can't chase for that quick check. You gotta have a strategic look at how you're gonna do something. I hate to, talk about music business that way, but being good at music business or at business anything enable you to keep your creativity intact. I mean, you still control it. So I always recommend all musicians learn about business. So in that point of view, with that is like, what we get the chance to get this out on a game that I knew about because I played the first one and the second one on PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 was the hot thing. So it's like, we got to take the opportunity. I would have done it for free, but they want to give us a few $1,000 split between how many people to buy two beer to a friend. That's fine,
Did you
Yeah.
feel like super confident, like, man, if I could get this song in there, people are gonna love this. Like this would work super good in the game. Like, did you have that feeling even as it was going in?
Yeah, I had a great feeling because when they asked us, we already done some big shows in America. We just started touring in America. And I always thought, as a gamer myself, I'm sure people that love video games will love our music and understand, the Pac-Man's noise in the game, all these weird noises that they can appreciate. Because I'll tell you the truth, when that third album came out, in Human Rampage, our old fans that was with us since the beginning says, this is a terrible album. What's all these video game noises that's chucked in here? There's way too much. This is stupid. What's going on here? So I was like a bit disappointed. We just evolved to incorporate even more music that inspired us all these years. And some people wasn't vibing with it. It's a minority, right? This is just a forum, and the people that love you the most sometimes are the biggest critics. But, it kind of got to me a little bit. So it was cool to be able to present DragonForce to a different audience that we couldn't, show our music to before.
It's funny too because I see so many intersections, even with like streaming or making videos or content, where it's like you maybe get locked into one game and then it's like going to a different game, and some of the audience is like, "Oh, I like the old way." Or, it's such a staple across like the creative endeavors in general. I feel like, but I guess talking a bit
Mhm.
more about your tours and your Inhuman Rampage tour from the 2000s had a lot of technical difficulties with it from what I was reading, which caused controversy, even people saying that some of it was sped up or faked, which has obviously been proven false. But your career in the band was starting to take off. And I guess, how do you handle some of that criticism, especially at that point in your career?
Well, that's something we have to live and learn. And I'll tell you, to be honest, I have no regrets at all what happened. But also, we're not a manufactured band. We're just a few guys get together, let's have fun. And suddenly it's like, oh, wow, we're selling 1 million albums here. We're going on tour. Well, we're going to get drunk and party. What the hell is going on here? So we had some great show, and some shows wasn't perfect, and we're still learning how to use the technology. Like we didn't have all the equipment we required to jump at such a high level. We were old school. There's no computers, nothing. It's kind of funny. People talk, oh, it's sped up. Well, we had no computers, no click track, no studio monitors where you hear everything wherever you go. And we still play the rock show where we jump up on trampolines, run around on stage everywhere. We make the show happen. And when we talk about, for people that don't know technologies, most musicians have these in-ear monitors. So wherever they go on stage, they can hear the guitar perfectly. We're not going to let this technology stop us. Even if we don't have it, we still got to make the show. So a band back then in 2006, and now we're like a complete different machine. We play better than ever, and it's all about evolving, getting better. Good times and bad times in life is important to make you appreciate different things. And to be honest, I think those shows are really great. It's just one problem. There was a one bad one, and that was live stream on Windows Media. It sounded terrible. Those old technology, it sounded terrible, and the guitar was out of tune. Whatever, the tech was drunk the night before. So it's like that. The star didn't align for us for that show. Some people complain about that one, but there's plenty of great videos. People just want to sit, and complain about one thing, right? So concentrate on that.
Your latest album now that you just toured with, Extreme Power Metal, seems to be heavily inspired by video games and, the space where you're at now, more or less. From the cover art to the actual performances, playing on the arcade machines, playing Castlevania, Final Fantasy songs. What inspired your band to kind of fully embrace the video game connotations that have been associated with DragonForce over the years?
We had a manager at some point, like in our career. And so a few years ago, in 2018, I retook the management back. And taking management back means I do whatever the hell I want, creatively, anything I want. And that's what happened. I said, I think when you have people managing, they're great people in the management business, and they're people that sometimes, look at it in a, you don't agree with. And they can, when you can have that friction business wise and creative wise, that can hold the musician back. I think by getting rid of that and changing our whole business sense, we're able to make our creativity even better. And here we go. You know what? We don't care. We do whatever we want. People don't like it. I don't care. And that's what we want to do. Yeah.
Hey, it's a good way to live, good way to create, right? But how similar
Yeah.
has it been with, the video game community, streaming, that sense with kind of the metal music community, whether that's from your past concerts and I guess even how much it overlaps with it?
It definitely overlaps. I mean, video games is one of the biggest things in the world, right? And there are people that like different kind of music into it. I didn't do the whole Instagram stuff when it was big because I just didn't see why people want to care about seeing me doing a selfie. But when I got onto Twitch, I thought, you know what, this is my zone, man. Everyone's into kind of like the gaming, the same aspects of stuff. I mean, and I got on well with the chat and everyone. And so I really kind of got into it, and everything just seemed to align, right? With Twitch and the gaming stuff we wanted to do. And I felt like I kind of became a kid again and did what I wanted without the boundaries of, let's say, traditional professional musician thing. And what I meant earlier when I talk about management is, they don't understand, traditional music management, how Twitch, YouTube, and all this can really be a fun thing first and then beneficial to the whole, creative mind and the music business. So when I took all those boundaries off, I was just able to do what I wanted. And it's just kind of, they all kind of came together. It overlapped. If I didn't see it, I found it, at the beginning.
How did it feel going from being on stage and then being in a live stream and like having the direct response from the chat? Like, because I've never had that experience of, being on stage or anything along those lines, but I've been in, thousands of live streams at this point. And I'm curious, like, what do you notice differences from like even interacting with the audience, or I guess like how that feels?
So this is going to make a lot of people happy when they hear that, even though I played in front of hundreds of thousands of people, my beginning of streaming, I was super scared and super nervous, even though there wasn't that many people. There was like only like 100 people. I was like super nervous. I tell you, man, learning to perform guitar or doing live streaming, even talking, is a total different skills that needs to be practiced and learned. I don't care how many thousands of people you played in front. And I'll tell you, I have a lot of guests on my live streams, and I'm talking about people that like play stadiums, they toured around the world. They don't want to play guitar on live stream. They say, I'm not doing that. I'm nervous. I'm not going to be here being recorded, broadcast around the world. It is a total different skills. Live streaming, playing on stage, and making YouTube videos, that means being filmed on a recorded thing. Each one of them have to practice and learn and get used to doing it before you're actually good at it. I appreciate all the creators out there, whatever they're doing.
Along those lines, you are very active on Twitch, streaming reaction videos, testing new guitars, concerts on tour even. You're literally making content out of content with what you're doing. when you're on stage specifically, are you ever thinking about like, oh, this would be a cool moment. Glad I caught this on stream, or can't wait to use this for TikTok later. Like, are you constantly, has that developed over time for you? Do you feel like that's a part of your process for it?
Absolutely, definitely. I have like five, six, seven, eight cameras on stage when I stream the show. And every day I'm thinking, okay, where should I put it that might capture someone fall over or some kind of cool moment on stage. So I captured my $3,000 guitar, smashed up when I threw it at the end of the night. I got like multiple cameras of it. That kind of went viral during the tour. I'm always thinking about it. One thing I learned about since doing Twitch and YouTube is you just don't know when something's gonna happen, and you have to do things for something incredible to come out. You can't plan everything out. You can't plan contents a lot of the time. It's the stuff that is unexpected that people love, and also that I want to see as well.
Do you have a specific schedule for your stream? And like, do you plan to be like, okay, I'm going to do this many videos or anything off of that? Or is it much more organic of like trying to capture, okay, when that random moment happens, let's see what we can get out of this and go off of it?
So I try to set myself a schedule. So I have a schedule on Twitch that I know what I'm going to do. And my schedule have move around because, look, we're talking about doing the best job possible. So there's that naturalness being yourself, but also we got to look at how each platform works. Just like YouTubers on Twitch, I base my streaming schedule on the best time to stream that's going to reach the right audience. And then a secondary best time, because this is a worldwide thing. We got to be able to let fans in Europe see it, in America and Asia, Australia. So I move around the evening time in LA and daytime that to reach different audience. And you can see I get different amounts of follows and different kind of audience finding the stream. So I try to plan it as much as possible. The same thing with YouTube. Learning about YouTube is kind of funny, learning how the algorithm work, and TikTok as well. But one thing I can tell you is this: it is actually impossible to manage the band, play in the band, do Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok and everything. It's actually impossible to do it yourself. So you have to hire people to assist me, to do the stuff. I used to do all the thumbnail and do all the edits and everything. And now, I'd say, okay, I want this edited this way, and someone help me do it and turn that around. But still, it's still very difficult because it's an evolving platform, right? Each one of them. And, and diversifying, even as a musician, TikTok have a different audience that don't really look at my Twitch content or Instagram. They try to make all that work at the same time and have fun with it and not make it like it's a job. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't have to tell you this, but to anybody listening, Herman is one of the greatest guitarists, man. The fast fingers, the solos, like you have to listen to some of this if you have not yet. Somehow you've missed all of this, right? But I'm curious for you, does that translate over to the games that you're playing as well? The fast fingers, the sharp reflexes, the accuracy, right? Like how does that translate into some of the games you're playing?
I think the gaming translated it into the guitar.
Mm.
I think so. I was big into Quake. I was in a clan. I used to do my matches, my weekly clan matches. Trust me, I was on that machine for hours and hours. There was a times that I barely played the guitar. I worried more about my frame rates and stuff. So, and all that translated, I've been playing video games since the Atari 2600. So a longer than my guitar. I started guitar when I was 16. But they all work together, skills, concentration, dedication, and being creative. And I talk about creative is you can't approach the game the same way all the time if it doesn't work, right? You got to think of different routes and different strategies. So I would say the same thing, solving problems. Guitar, I'm trying to solve a problem. How do I play this? How do I play something in my mind? I'm trying to solve it by putting time onto the instrument.
That's awesome, man. And you just got off tour, so now you get some time to relax. But are there some things that you're looking forward to for the second half of the year, whether that's for your content, the band, anything in general that you're working towards for it?
So I'm gonna start playing shows in Europe. We got some big festivals we're gonna be playing. So I'm moving my streaming location to France. So we're gonna be at the beach, at the south of France by the beach. So I'm looking forward to changing the vibe of the live stream a little bit and doing some content in south of France in around Europe. That would be good. Taking the fans with me, on the journey. I find that really interesting to be able to do that.
That sounds incredible, especially streaming it, like showing, talking about it all. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today, man. Anybody out there that wants to go find you, listen to this, follow along with you, where is the best place to go?
Well, hermanli.com will have all the links you need, but of course on Twitch, on Twitter, YouTube is the DragonForce YouTube. So go check it out. That's where you got the music and the other stuff as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for your time coming onto the podcast today. It has been a pleasure to learn about some of your creative process and all of this, man. It really is, especially from somebody who's played so much of Dragon Force on some of those older systems, listened to the music while I've been grinding WoW or whatever games I've been playing over all these years. It's a bit surreal, but I really appreciate you coming on and joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Stone. It's awesome. It's great to be able to chat about these things and with someone who I'm a noob compared to you, so I'm speaking to a real pro there.
Sure. Hey, to your point, we got different skills. Keep building those skills up. Keep it going.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I wanted to just end this with a little bit of context on why we do what we do. We're former content creators ourselves, and we just really want to help as many content creators as we can. That's why we started Pipeline.gg. It's a platform where you can find other like-minded creators and learn from the pros who've already been there. Get step-by-step guidance so you can avoid all the mistakes that we made in the beginning. If you love the episode, there's going to be even more insight on Pipeline. So check it out. Head over to Pipeline.gg.